question. I have two questions. We currently have a president who doesn't have a mandate, and everybody is anticipating elections. And it is a dream at the moment. All the local government elections has been postponed, and now they are just indicating there's going to be presidential elections next year. And also there's another speculation saying that they will dissolve the parliament. The president, no, they are going to get together and run the parliament without the president. So many speculations. It all ends up, we have failed as a nation in your headline because of corruption. It all ends up, we have failed as a nation because of corruption. Because there are deals going on, internal deals. So what I would like to ask you, under your leadership, first of all, we should have elections to elect you. So will there be elections next year? And other thing, under your government, there should be end to this corruption. Thank you.
So as you know very well, elections are an integral part of the democratic process. That's a right that should never be violated. I'm afraid during the course of our democratic history, there have been occasions where elections have been postponed. And I think the two major parties have also engaged in initiating such efforts at stifling democracy. I mention that because I think it's very important to be transparent and accountable when making statements. I think this right for the people of our country to exercise their franchise has to be protected at whatever cost. It is an important ingredient in promoting peace, prosperity, and progress in a nation state. So whatever are the utterances of the chief executive of the country, the president, I think he himself, through his utterances, have exhibited the fact that he is present in a confused state of mind. He is a master at putting out feelers to check the political temperature among the Sri Lankan society. He is an expert in expediting trial balloons to ascertain the people's thinking. But at the same time, if we are to go by his pronouncements at one of his speeches in recent times, apparently he's going to have elections, which is most welcome. But I can understand the suspicion that you have, because here is a country that cannot find 10 billion rupees to conduct the local government election. So we will fight for an election because it's a right of the people, and the people should have their right to exercise their franchise, and the country needs a new beginning, and that new beginning will commence from a fresh mandate. So we will ensure that at least the presidential and parliamentary elections are held on time. You do understand that within parliament, the composition is heavily skewed in favor of the president, SLPP, the Rajapaksas and their partners. And I'm afraid that was a choice not made by us, but by the people of this country. There may be certain limitations in maneuvering within parliament. But outside, I think the people are with us. People are raring to go in terms of providing a new mandate, a fresh mandate, to ensure that Sri Lanka recovers from its present status. And I'm hopeful and positive about our position when an election comes. And if the president and his political stooges try to obstruct that process, we will ensure that the people's voice and the people's sovereignty are victorious. As far as corruption is concerned, I think we need to have far-reaching changes. I personally think we have not had that. You know very well that the fundamental rights chapter of the Constitution is virtually irrevocable unless you have a 2/3 in Parliament and a 50+1 vote at the referendum. So fundamental rights is what you call an entrenched clause in the Constitution. I personally believe we need to have several entrenched clauses to fight corruption. and to eradicate corruption. The anti-corruption effort should be completely depoliticized. The structures and the processes must have the stature to stand on its own. In order to do so, I think we'll have to have a separate chapter in the Constitution, which cannot be changed by the whims and fancies of a parliamentary majority. We need to have a very comprehensive structure, a very comprehensive piece of legislation, constitutional amendment that cannot be tinkered with or tampered by politicians. And we need to have that as part of the Constitution and an entrenched clause. So these efforts, what you have right now in terms of the anti-corruption bill, I don't think it goes far enough. Even though there are commissions that have been established and appointed, still there is significant political interference into the processes. And I think we need something much more sound and acceptable and something of greater value to fight corruption. One of the ways in which we can enhance anti-corruption efforts is having campaign finance reforms. If you look at the experience in the United States system of elections, as you know, elections primarily take place at the central level to the legislature, the Senate and the House of Representatives, and to the position of presidency. Of course, at the state level you have virtual elections even to positions of the Attorney General. However, there are very stringent controls on campaign finance, and those have to be adhered to. Now, that is an important ingredient in any anti-corruption effort, which is lacking in our country. So that is one aspect where we have to have a proper system and a method to control campaign finance, which has a direct correlation to corruption levels in a society.